A quiet but determined shift is underway in global finance, led by the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. For decades, the US dollar has dominated international trade, granting the US immense economic power. Now BRICS is challenging this status quo, pushing for de-dollarization, reducing reliance on the dollar in global trade. Their goal, a more balanced multipolar financial system that doesn't hinge on a single nation's currency. BRICS countries are actively exploring trade in their own currencies, a topic now central at their summits. The creation of the new development bank signaled their intent to build alternatives to Western-led financial institutions. Trading in local currencies is the next step, aiming for greater economic autonomy. Imagine India buying from Brazil and paying in rupees or reals, bypassing the dollar entirely, simplifying transactions and reducing costs. While the dollar's dominance isn't over, its foundations are being challenged. The BRICS initiative is one of the most significant efforts to reshape global finance in the 21st century. The world is watching as these nations, representing billions, chart a new course. The push is practical, not just theoretical. Real steps are being taken. The old system's days of unquestioned dominance are numbered. The future of global finance may soon look very different. India has become a leading advocate for a multi-currency world within BRICS. Its approach is pragmatic, seeking stability, not confrontation. India promotes gradual, collaborative change, not abrupt abandonment of the dollar. By establishing currency swap lines and trading in rupees, India aims to shield its economy from dollar-driven shocks. This strategy reduces import costs, especially for oil, and gives India more control over its monetary policy. As more countries accept rupees, India's global influence grows. The benefits lower transaction costs, stronger economic sovereignty, and a more balanced financial order. India's message to BRICS: this is a win-win, not a zero-sum game. By elevating their own currencies, BRICS nations can collectively shape a fairer global system. The push to move beyond the dollar is driven by both politics and economics. US sanctions have weaponized the dollar, making many nations wary of overdependence. American monetary policy, set for US interests, can trigger crises abroad when the dollar strengthens. Developing countries with dollar-denominated debt face higher costs and instability. Trading in dollars adds fees and exposes businesses to exchange rate risks. Direct trade in local currencies would be simpler and cheaper. The world's economic center is shifting eastward, and BRICS wants the financial system to reflect this new reality. The dominance of a single currency is seen as outdated. A multi-currency world is more resilient and representative. BRICS nations are building alternatives to insulate themselves from US policy. The movement is about economic self-determination and a fairer global order. If major trade shifts away from the dollar, global commodity pricing will change. Oil, gas, and gold could be priced in yuan, rupees, or reals, creating new benchmarks. Central banks would diversify reserves, boosting the importance of BRICS currencies. Demand for the dollar would fall, potentially impacting its value worldwide. Regional trade blocs could strengthen, with new financial ecosystems emerging. The global economy might evolve into interconnected regional zones, each with its own currency preferences. But the transition won't be easy. No other currency matches the dollar's trust and liquidity yet. Building credibility for alternatives will take years. The adjustment period could bring volatility and uncertainty. Businesses and investors will need to adapt to a more complex, multi-currency world. A decline in dollar dominance would reshape America's economy and influence. The US could face higher borrowing costs and lose its exorbitant privilege. American leverage through sanctions would weaken, shifting power dynamics. The US would need to rely more on diplomacy than financial coercion. For India, increased rupee use means more economic control and global stature. Indian businesses would benefit from lower costs and less exposure to US policy swings. Other developing nations could gain flexibility and new trade opportunities, but the transition could be disruptive, especially for smaller economies. Adapting to a multi-currency world will require new expertise and infrastructure. The journey promises both challenges and opportunities for the global South. For ordinary people, de-dollarization could bring real changes. In India, trading oil in rupees could stabilize fuel prices and household budgets. In the US, a weaker dollar might mean pricier imports and higher living costs. Government borrowing could become more expensive, affecting taxes and services. Business owners worldwide would face new currency risks, but also new opportunities. Exporters could benefit from direct trade in local currencies, avoiding dollar volatility. The global marketplace will reward those who adapt to multi-currency realities. For developing nations, this shift could mean stronger economies and more control. For developed countries, it signals the end of automatic advantages. The transition may be uncomfortable, but it's driven by a desire for a fairer global order. The BRICS-led push to reduce dollar reliance marks the dawn of a new economic era. This isn't about dethroning the dollar overnight, but building a resilient multi-currency system. The old dollar-centric order is being challenged by rising powers demanding a say in global rules. Success depends on BRICS building trust in their currencies and financial systems. The journey will be gradual, through currency swaps and regional payment systems. A less dollar-dependent world could foster direct trade and insulate nations from US-driven shocks, but it will also be more complex, requiring new skills and strategies. The world is moving toward a more distributed, equitable financial order. The story of de-dollarization is the story of a changing world, one being written now by the actions of these rising powers.